To my surprise and delight, a few days later, when the Red Sox were in town, the little dispatch appeared alongside 5 others. Mine illustrated with a 2x3-inch cartoon of the splendid spitter, as some had begun calling him, standing in left field, a cuspidor within salivary range. Those 125 words were my first to be published. Neither I nor my family had any notion of how easy it is to get a letter accepted in a newspaper, and in our naivete, we treated publication like an accomplishment, my mother referring to my story or article as if I'd written a real column. While I knew it was only a boy's letter, I could imagine something more, a dream made graphic and, as it proved, indelible in memory because of the illustration. I soon forgot my written words, but not the cartoon image, which I thought lent the piece gravitas. My mother had planted a seed that began germinating only to wither, resprout, shrivel, revive once again to eventually produce seeds of its own, which is to say, my interests moved from photojournalism to literature to photojournalism to journalism, and eventually onto what a chatty fellow waiting for a casino cashier in Las Vegas once said to me. "Oh, you're that other kind of bookmaker. Do your bets pay off?" Writing books is indeed a gambler's trade, because it's one of hope against probability. The belief that someone, somewhere, sometime might choose to spend money on your words, rather than on a nice bottle of Cabernet or on a couple of lottery tickets. What's more, perhaps vanity oversteps itself when writers gather their stories into collections, a thing so literary I offer it with considerable diffidence. Nevertheless, I remind myself of the old journalistic adage, no guts, no story. Besides, experience makes me confident it's unlikely you will have come upon more than, at the most, a couple of these pieces, because many of them surely went to ignite barbecue briquettes or stuffed parcels before you could see them. One advantage books have over a newspaper or magazine is that it's harder to wrap yesterday's fish with them. So your being here now comes down to what life comes down to, and that's the inescapable linking of events, the perpetual outfall of circumstance and consequence. A left fielder with a cartoon cuspidor, a kid with a typewriter, a reader with a book. These stories, each initially having a lifespan equivalent to a mayfly's, are not every journalistic piece I've ever written. In file folders are an equal number I'm leaving there because, to use a phrase employed by bookmakers of the parimutuel sort, as well as by the other kind, I felt they were, so to speak, tails without legs. Even if they made it around the oval once, they are unlikely to do it again. But we readers have our own different tracks, some for sprinters, some for mudders, others for beasts with great lungs. I hope the horses here will have a chance on your track, and can at least finish in the money. I initially assembled the contents in chronological order, which did little more than suggest ways my writing may have changed, I'd like to say developed, but who would care besides me? Instead, I've arranged them intuitively, and that means you too can intuit an order to suit your experience. I believe there are continuing themes here, and finding them replicates the fundamental quest for connections forever necessary to make any sense of any whatever. Knowledge is a gathering for something greater, assemblage. One is collecting, the other constructing. The young absorb information at a prodigious rate, but interpretation and amplification, if they actually happen, develop slowly. My mind functions like a kaleidoscope. Bits and chips collect and, if things go well, arrange themselves over time into gestalts, which once in a while transform into a concept of usefulness and, rather less than once in a while, of originality. My books, in their greater freedoms, I trust, refract such a process as the words reflect a person, a place, an event, and the pieces adhere into a story. It's then that a writer turns to a reader's intelligence to take up the finishing stage and transform tale into personal meaning. That's the way writing, of a certain kind anyway, works, if it is to work at all.